Sha Carri Richardson ran 10.57 at the Miramar Invitational and has set tongues a-wagging. Here's what it actually means. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Go ahead, please hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. We drop a video at least once a day here on Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. And finally, leave your thoughts after this sports analysis where we take a look at and we break down the races. So, when you're ready, yep, good to go. Well, the remarkably talented and controversial Sha Carri Richardson seems to be back in top form. Yesterday at the Miramar Invitational, she shocked the entire world and won the 100-meter women's heat one, well, final one, in an astounding wind-assisted time of 10.57. And of course, everywhere I go, I am hearing about this 10.57. Tongues are wagging, and people are even, let's just say, people are talking about this 10.57. So, first, let's take a quick glance of the race because we can't actually show you the entire race. And let's have a full-on discussion as to what this 10.57 by Sha Carri Richardson actually means, in our humble opinion. Now, as we stated, Sha Carri Richardson's 10.57 win at Miramar Invitational was wind assisted. In fact, the win was a plus 4.1, which is extremely significant in our conversation. TT Terry came second behind Sha Carri Richardson of the USA, running a time of 10.83, with Natasha Morrison running 11.05 to take that third spot. Jayla Baylark of the USA running 11. Now, of note, when we adjust that 10.75 with the proper wind calculator, using, of course, the metric of a plus 4.1 meters per second wind, this one is still extremely impressive. It works out to 10.77. So take a quick gander of the actual race.
And see if she can run the field. Now it's all about time. She's celebrating.
Now, before we get into my 2 cents, let me just say this. I'm of the opinion that the greater the amount of talent you have in any given field and or division is the better the end product. So the fact of the matter is, although I may be a Jamaican vlogger, I love to see when we have great sprinters out there doing their very best. It's one of the reasons why we feature people like Aaliyah Hobbs, because we think she's a great sprinter. And we think the more people you bring to the party, the faster times you will see and the greater talent you'll see, and the better for the sport in general. Now, this of course is my 2 cents. Sha Carri Richardson it's really hard to find the correct words, but I've said in numerous videos before that she's extremely talented. There's like no doubt in my mind. If you have a PB, I believe, of 10.73, which makes you the, I think it's the 8th or the 7th fastest female all time, you are a fast person. And remember, in college, and I think she still has a collegiate 100-meter record, she ran 10, to my memory, she ran 10.75, and that record still stands. So we are talking about a young lady who is innately a very gifted sprinter. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, if you remember this one last year, she ran this. It was also wind assisted. I believe she ran 10 point. The stats are going to come up very, very soon because I'm speaking over the race because more than likely you've seen it. Yeah, she ran 10.73 in this instance with a plus 4.3 wind. And one of the things I stated in this process, that's her running breaking the collegiate record, I believe, that 10.75. One of the things I said in that race she did last year when she had that plus 4.3 wind, I said that all the other athletes beside her, TT Terry, all these other people, were also running insanely fast times that none of them have ever run even close to in their entire existence. And this is sort of important to the point I'm going to make. First up, this race that she ran yesterday, yes, it was wind assisted. Plus 4.1 is twice the legal limit. That's really, really fast. Anything over a plus 2.0 yesterday, for instance, Oblique Seville and Akeem Blake, Jamaicans, ran and won a Quinella in the men's 100 meters over there at the Miramar Invitational. The wind was a plus 2.2. So it was not a legal time. It was still over the limits. This was a plus 4.1 wind, which is twice the legal limit. And I could say what I said last year was, because of the wind factor, it gave her a massive boost, and therefore we can't really take it seriously. Plus, all the other athletes in that race last year were running insane times. But this is a little different, though, I have to admit. No one came close to running a 10.57 or a 10.56 or a 10.6 or 10.6 or a 10.7. I think the closest person to her was a 10.8 something. So something is happening here, and we need to take a note of that. They were all being pushed by the same wind. And yes, this calculates down to a 10.75 if you remove the wind factor. The point I'm making is that I think she's actually running really fast times again. Well, certainly in this instance, she seems to be back in top form. So we should really pay attention. No one else ran those crazy times in that particular race yesterday at Miramar. And that means that she's actually running back into form. The kind of form she was at, I think, in 2020. The other factor that one has to consider when we discuss young Sha Carri Richardson is that she's not very consistent with these times. 1 minute she's running crazy fast, the next minute she's running crazy slow. And most top tier athletes tend to settle at a particular range, a particular range in terms of their performances, and tend to improve or slide away. But there's not these drastic swings where 1 minute you're running 11.34 and then you're running 10.77. It's not normal. Something else is happening here. And I'm not a psychiatrist or a sociologist, and I would not presume to do that. But I do know that a person's state of mind will impact their performance in any field. So maybe the trauma of what she went through, losing her mother, the ban, the negative attention from the public, all of this impacted her over the last couple of years, and she's kind of getting back into the right mental place. And maybe this is why we saw this performance. But the third point I have to make, given the inconsistencies of Sha Carri Richardson, and I'm going to say it again, supremely talented athlete, and that 10.57 should be taken note of, wind aided or not, for the previous points I made. I need to see her do this a couple more times. Because like I said, she's been exceedingly inconsistent in the past. The fourth thing is that she really does very well running in Miramar. If my memory is correct, she ran her 10.73, her fastest time thus far, in Miramar. She does very, very well on the tracks in Miramar. So, what do I really think? I think that 10.57, although it had a plus 4.1 wind, which calculates out to a 10.77, is a very impressive time. For the reasons I just stated before. One, none of the other athletes were running those crazy times, so clearly she's in a better form and shape than they are. They're all in the same exact race and all had basically the same wind behind them. So something is happening. Two, she's been very, very inconsistent in these times. Over the last 2 years, she has been averaging about 11.20 as a top tier athlete. Three, it could be that she has sort of settled mentally, or whatever was distracting or creating problems, and she's refocused her efforts, and we should take her very, very seriously. Four, I can't really hold fast to this 10.57, although massively wind aided, until I see her do something similar to this again, because I believe the key to success in anything in life has got to be consistency. Five, I'm going to say this now, this is going to be controversial. I need to see her running fast times outside of the United States. She's never done that. Ever. So I need to see her doing this external of the United States. The World Championships, I think, is going to be, it's not going to be in the United States. So I need to see her do this external of the United States. Those are my 5 points. So in conclusion, and this, of course, is just my 2 cents. We should take seriously that time. It's an impressive time, but I need to see some degree of consistency before I can lock it in and say, okay, she's back. And I need to see her do this, not just in the US, but outside of the US. And I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm just stating my facts. I'm not the wisest person. But this, of course, is my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Remember, you are royals, kings, and queens. Bless up.